So a few years ago, I came across an artifact on an auction site that really did stop me in my tracks. It was one of these ancient pre-Columbian, gold figures. And very oddly, I have not seen this show up much at all other than maybe a handful of people saw it when it auctioned off online. But this figure is really reminiscent of that famous ancient alien plane called the Quimbaya artifacts, like these little gold planes that were sculpted. Now, these items are so mysterious because they resemble airplanes, but airplanes did not exist when these items were made. So, back to the topic of this video. This little guy comes from around the same time period as those ancient airplanes were crafted. However, this guy appears to be wielding a jetpack. I say this because he has this huge, odd-looking bag on his back that actually just looks like a jetpack more than it does a bag. And he's kind of holding the straps here like you see modern jetpacks wielders would hold. And this is a ceremonial figure that it was described as. Let's look at some more pictures. The underside. These little holes here was probably where he would be inserted in some kind of pendant or like set piece. The top. You see these gold spirals that are really reminiscent of these pre-Columbian South America figures. I believe this process is called tumbaga, the way these gold figures are casted. And I believe this could be real because of all the pitting you see here. That really just comes with age and the way that they did the casting. And here's a backside of this jetpack-like item. You see a lot of these open holes. That could be a outcome of the way this mold is casted. Or it could be openings for maybe smoke, actually. Even more interesting. Smoke would flow through here and then flow out the back of the quote-unquote jetpack. Inside, you got more of these perforated holes. And again, the bottom of the figure and his feet had holes too. So maybe this was to have an incense inside of this figure. Some kind of smoke coming out, oddly, of what looks like a jetpack. Another view of the front side in different lighting. I think this does look like real age. I do not believe this is fake, but maybe with someone with more knowledge could debunk me. Again, this was in a pretty obscure auction that apparently no one has seen this because I've never seen this discussed online. Probably a handful of people saw this. I tried to win the bid, but I lost. Just was too expensive for me. Let's actually read the description here. Tyronia gold copper alloy ritual figurine crafted from tumbaga. That's that little process they use with this gold casting, depicting a goddess of jewels. So this describes that backpack looking thing as a traditional headdress. It is depicting the goddess of jewels. Let me just Google search that to see if other figures look like this one with this big bag or jetpack on their back. Here's another one. Does not have any kind of bag on it, its back. Again, nothing there. Okay, this just has a regular pot on its back. Doesn't look anything like a jetpack. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other figures that even represent this one. So, just speculation. It's just something really odd I've noticed, and this little guy's been on my mind for years because I really wanted to win the auction, but I didn't. And it's just so odd that he has this jetpack looking thing with seemingly aerated holes for incense smoke to come out of. And again, it's just Really odd. It really reminds me of these figures on Ancient Aliens. These little planes that were discovered, which were to depict some kind of fish or something, but it just looks like a modern day airplane. In a way. If figures were crafted, they would not know what an airplane would look like, obviously. I'm sure a lot of these are reproductions, but you get the idea of what the originals look like. So yeah, did ancient civilizations have access to airplanes and jetpacks? Just something fun to speculate about. Probably not. You could probably say this is some kind of ceremonial backpack or something. Like, people explain this object off as, you know, a holy version of a fish or a bird. But it looks like a plane. This looks like a jetpack, so yeah, just a really weird oddity I don't see talked about. This little guy here, which, you know, you could, like, I would imagine this would be like the headline of an Ancient Aliens episode. But this little guy never got much traction. 18 bidders are watching it. So, yep.